Hello, my movie peeps. Appreciate you clicking on an episode of Side Flick. Let's talk about some movie news. Some of the things we'll be discussing here today, guys. I'm going to be recapping and giving you my thoughts on last night's Oscars. We got Nintendo announcing the release date for their next Super Mario movie. James Gunn gives us some confusing updates in the DCU. Really, that alone and so much more. So you guys know the drill. Leave your opinions down below with everything we discuss here today. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. But first, I want to go ahead and thank the sponsor of today's video, Rocket Money. Something I think we all deal with is managing our finances. Now, I recently had an eye-opening experience with recurring charges. That's where I signed up for something and they just kept charging me and I completely forgot it was there. Well, in comes in Rocket Money, the personal finance app you need in your life. With Rocket Money, you can kiss goodbye to those pesky subscriptions draining your bank account and hello to financial freedom. It's like having your own financial superhero. Rocket Money not only helped me to cancel those pesky subscriptions, but they also help me better align my finances. I don't have to worry about people calling me anymore, my budgeting, or when things are due. Rocket Money's got it down to a science and I really appreciate that, especially with the amount of streaming services I have to have for this channel. So if you're ready to take control of your finances like a boss, head over to rocketmoney.com/3cfilms and start your free trial today. You won't regret it. Thank you again to Rocket Money for sponsoring today's video. But with that out of the way, let's jump into last night's Oscars. Now, I actually made a TikTok recap where I think I summarized the entire 3-hour show in about 3 minutes with some of the highlight moments, so let me repurpose it for YouTube with some added commentary. So the Oscars just wrapped up. Let's talk about the best, worst, and most cringiest moments from this year's ceremony. Starting off with the worst, the opening monologue from Jimmy Kimmel was just not very funny. Most uncomfortable part about the monologue had to be when he made a joke about Robert Downey Jr.'s old drug problem and then talked about his penis.
Is that an acceptance speech in your pocket, or do you just have a very rectangular penis?
First controversy of the night is when Boy and the Heron won for Best Animated Film. Now, I think it definitely deserved it because it was a really great movie, but a lot of people feel like Across the Spider-Verse should have won. Even the voice actor for Miles Morales, Shameik Moore, responded by saying robed and then correcting it with Rob. Not the classiest way to handle a loss. One of the best jokes from the entire night is when they recreated the moment a streaker was on stage back in 1974, only this time with John Cena. He was on stage completely naked. I think that was a big risk, but it was so funny in the moment. Black Adam and El Muerto took the stage and The Rock said this:
"You see, he's not such a bad bunny."
Another actually funny moment from the event is when Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt talk about the Barbenheimer event and the beef they have.
"Because you were riding Barbie's coattails all summer."
All right, mister, I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding.
Robert Downey Jr. ends up winning his first ever Oscar for Best Supporting Actor in Oppenheimer.
I'd like to thank my terrible childhood and the Academy in that order.
Godzilla Minus One wins an Oscar for Best VFX, and the crew go up there with their little Godzilla toys. That made me so happy. This is also the first time a Godzilla movie has ever been nominated or won an Oscar. And you know, Kong already has 4 movies throughout his cinematic career, but who cares? I was just happy for the Godzilla team because that was so well earned. Another highlight funny moment is when Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito get on stage and bond over hating Batman.
As the Penguin in Batman Returns.
That was Mr. Freeze in Batman and Robin. Batman, that son of a bitch.
Where is he?
Yeah, I hate him.
There he is.
I hate.
He's right here.
Not only was this bit great, but it was also funny that Michael Keaton isn't even the Batman to Arnold Schwarzenegger, because his was George Clooney, but still, I love that entire interaction. All the musical performances for Best Song were great, but Ryan Gosling's I'm Just Ken performance stole the show. It was probably the most hyped up part of the entire Oscars, especially when he got down to include Margot Robbie, Greta Gerwig, even Emma Stone got to sing a little bit. Jumping off from that, Billie Eilish did win an Oscar for Best Song in Barbie, What Was I Made For? And with this being her second Oscar, she has now broken a record for youngest person to win 2 Oscars. Another amazing moment is Christopher Nolan finally winning his first ever Oscar for Oppenheimer and gives such a great line in his speech.
Movies are just a little bit over 100 years old. I mean, imagine being there 100 years into painting or theater. We don't know where this incredible journey is going from here, but to know that you think that I'm a meaningful part of it means the world to me. Thank you very much.
Emma Stone wins her second Oscar for Best Actress for Poor Things and says she ripped her dress when singing I'm Just Ken.
My dress is broken. I think it happened during I'm Just Ken.
I would say that's the second controversy of the night, is Emma Stone winning. And look, really, her performance and everything she did in Poor Things, I think she did earn her Oscar. I definitely feel bad for Lily Gladstone because she had a strong shot as well. And I can understand why some people feel like she was snubbed. I mean, even Emma Stone looked a little shocked and upset to win, looking like Oppenheimer in that moment. Cillian Murphy winning an Oscar for Best Actor in Oppenheimer. That's just great that he finally got his Oscar. He deserved it for that performance. And the night ended with Oppenheimer taking the Oscar for Best Picture, as expected. It was an okay show. Let me know your guys' opinions on some of the wins, highlights, best or worst moments. Love to hear it down below. Moving on here, yesterday was actually Mario Day. March 10th, I didn't know this, is actually Mario Day. And to celebrate, Nintendo wanted to make an announcement for the next Mario movie. They posted a little video with the statement saying, "This is Miyamoto. We are now creating a new animated film based on the world of Super Mario Bros. The film is planned to release in theaters on April 3rd, 2026 in the US and many other markets, and throughout the month of April in other territories. We'll let you know the details once we're ready to share more. This time too, the staff at Illumination and Nintendo are working together. We're thinking about broadening Mario's world further, and it'll have a bright and fun story. We hope you'll look forward to it." And you know, this is awesome. Finally, another Nintendo animated movie coming up. I really loved what that Super Mario movie was, and it's a no-brainer that it was going to get some sort of sequel or spin-off because that thing made $1 billion. It was a big hit, no matter what the critics say. But I think there is a slight bit of confusion on whether this is Super Mario 2 or a Super Mario spin-off. Now, this could be words getting lost in translation because Miyamoto was speaking his native language, and then this statement got translated into English. And from this exact phrasing, a movie set in the Super Mario world doesn't really sound like Super Mario 2 to me. It sounds like we're getting a spin-off. And there has been rumors that there is a Donkey Kong movie in the works with Seth Rogen exploring his little island and family and larger Donkey Kong group. But also Luigi has been rumored to get his own movie kind of based on his Haunted Mansion series. I'd honestly be fine with either or, even if it's just straight up Super Mario 2. And even at the end of the statement, Nintendo's saying they're working with Illumination to broaden the Super Mario world. So even if this announcement is directly for Super Mario 2, they're working on spin-offs. They're working on other avenues on where to take things. And you know what? I think that's great. The Mario world was very vast, open. I think there's a lot of places they could take it and pay homage to other games. Hoping Super Mario 3 is basically their adaptation of Super Mario Galaxy, because that would be the best way to go with the franchise. And now with the announcement of the live-action Zelda movie, another Mario-type movie, yo, Nintendo's cranking them out, and we're having fun as fans. So we just gotta wait 2 more years and more Super Marios in our life. Based on statement, what do you guys think it is? Do you think it's Super Mario 2, a spin-off movie, or what would you even like to see? From there, wanted to jump off to some statements that James Gunn made over the weekend that confirm some of our suspicions and then confuse other people in the process. Now, I do want to admit, out of all the confusing statements James Gunn has made on his socials, which the man loves to be on, you could argue this is probably one of the least confusing, because now his DCU is starting to look more clear. We're starting to understand what is canon and isn't canon, but there's still like a weird gray area. Essentially, the comment was made where a fan was asking information about Peacemaker Season 2, something we know is coming. James Gunn has already wrote the entire Season 2 outline. They're going to start filming it sometime this year, and for the longest time, fans were confused because that first Peacemaker season was very clearly set in the DCEU, with the Justice League showing up. Even if they were shadows, it was still the Justice League of the DCEU. But now we know Season 1 is not even canon anymore. James Gunn said this: "Yes, Peacemaker takes place after Superman, his new Superman movie," and someone replied with, "Including Season 1?" And he said, "Season 1 isn't canon, but no." Someone wanted a little bit of clarification and says, "Is Peacemaker still connected to the DCU?" And he says, "Season 2 is full DCU, not DCEU." And there you have it, my friends. If that wasn't confusing or weird in itself, we're getting Season 2 to a series that takes place in an entirely different universe with the exact same cast and most likely a similar continuation to the previous story. That's what has just been so weird about this DCU. I think they just needed a clean cutoff, not needing to do this. Like, if you wanted to continue Peacemaker's story, fine, but like, don't call it Season 2. Don't say it's a Season 2. I can only imagine also how they're going to address it. There was a lot of rumors recently with the new Mortal Kombat game. The explanation in Mortal Kombat 1 for how Peacemaker jumped into that universe was that a villain named Eclipso threw him into the Mortal Kombat dimension, and they thought, oh, maybe James Gunn will take that, and when Peacemaker leaves the Mortal Kombat universe back into the DC, 3, he's in the DCU and not DCEU. And man, can you just imagine this type of timeline confusion and multiverse nonsense in phase 1 of the MCU? It'd be a little overdoing it. I always want to be positive with James Gunn because I have big belief that he's going to knock it out of the park with this universe, and maybe things will look a lot more clear once we have a couple of projects in. But right now, what a shaky, weird start. Starting off your universe with Creature Commandos, then season 2 of Peacemaker, having season 1 not be connected to this universe, but some of those story elements will still connect to season 2. It just goes on. Superman Legacy, though, is actually the true start to the universe, not actually Creature Commandos. Also, Blue Beetle's coming back, but don't pay attention to his movie. Like, the history lesson. I'm gonna have to sit down with my child and tell him, we're now in the DCU, but the rules are kind of vague, son. Get your pen and paper out, okay? There's going to be a quiz after. I don't know. It's kind of funny and nonsensical to think about, but hey, this also kind of makes me really look forward to Peacemaker, knowing that it's straight DCU. I wonder how tonally different it's going to feel, or how weird the world is going to look now. I mean, James Gunn wanted to put the Justice League in season 1. He couldn't do that because the execs at the time told him no. Now James Gunn is the exec. He is the head one. Superman could cameo in Peacemaker Season 2 for all we know now. I want to know about you guys. What do you think about Peacemaker Season 2 being part of DCU and Season 1 no longer being canon? This now brings us into some kind of vague, interesting comments Sam Raimi recently made about his Spider-Man 4. So it feels like the past couple of weeks or even months, the phrase Spider-Man 4 is no longer synonymous with Sam Raimi's old canceled Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire. When we think of Spider-Man 4, we're looking forward to the Tom Holland iteration, which yes, I am. I still want to see what happens with that movie. And well, there's always been like little whispers and murmurings online that yeah, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 4 and Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man 3, they're possible, they're gonna happen. Sony's having conversations, but it always seemed like a far off shot, a vague rumor. I was like, I want to believe it with all my heart, but it's like, is that really gonna happen? Especially when the company's too busy making Madam Web and El Muerto. And well, a fan recently got to talk to Sam Raimi at a convention, and he said that Sam Raimi told him straight up. Sam Raimi reportedly said there's a chance of Spider-Man 4 happening simply because he has the same desire as we do. If it is to happen, it will be at the right time. Man, I'm getting my hopes up too high. I want to see this happen. Like, it's insane. I understand Sony's thought process, because again, the only reason these movies aren't actually happening, and while they'll only use Tobey and Andrew as connections to Tom Holland in his movies instead of their own separate movies, is for brand confusion. They're focused on Tom. They think he's their moneymaker. He's their main Spider-Man, and they don't want to do anything to contradict him. That's why I think they're focused on these DC-list Spider-Man characters no one's ever heard of, like El Muerto and Madam Web, and hoping they can give them some sort of fame, but not enough fame that it would overtake Tom Holland's movies. But it's like, the world has changed. 5-6 years ago, it would have been weird to have two Spider-Mans in separate different universes having continuations, but it's like, yo, superhero movies are just a dime a dozen. We're literally about to go through a couple-year time span where we've had like 4-3 Batman on screen. Whether it's Michael Keaton returning in The Flash, and then Robert Pattinson is still having his movies, and James Gunn comes out and announced there's going to be a whole nother Batman for his DCU. You know, having a couple Spider-Men running around in their own universes with their own movies, just do it. Who cares about brand confusion? Fans today are actually smart enough now to get the information, whether it be online through YouTube videos, TikToks, or articles, where they're like, what do I need to know before seeing this movie? Okay, that's nice. Now let's go watch it. My pitch for that movie has been time and time again, make that movie about Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man having his daughter, Spider-Girl, Mayday Parker, and the movie being a father-daughter story about him debating whether he should raise her to be a superhero, about whether he wants to put her through those same things, and obviously a kid with powers would want to do that. I think there's such a great story in there. You even already set up Mayday as a character in the animated Spider-Verse movies. Start doing it in live action. I want it so bad, but again, even with Sam Raimi, the director, the man himself, saying, I have the desire to do it, I want to make this, at the end of the day, it's Sony pulling the trigger, and I have no idea why they are not greenlighting this easy money maker, man. I'd rather see this than you shoehorn in Tobey and Andrew into Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland, because that's the rumors of what they're trying to do, and it's like, that was great once, but it's like, I'd rather see these stories continue just a little bit more. I don't know. That's just my opinion on the situation. It was going around. I had to talk about it. What do you guys think? Even with Sam Raimi saying, I want to make it, is it even going to get made? I think there's like a 20% chance. But that is all movie news currently going on right now, guys. I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch me talk some movie news. Don't be forgetting to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.